You've heard his name mentioned several times. It's now going to be my honor to welcome Mr. Ezra Friedlander, the founder of the Anwar Sadat Congressional Gold Medal Commission and CEO of the Friedlander Group. Among his many projects, Mr. Friedlander is the organizer of the annual Jewish Heritage Month celebration luncheon held in the Kennedy Caucus Room of the U.S. Capitol, which I had the honor to speak at this spring. Please join me in welcoming Ezra Friedlander.
Members of the dais, my fellow board members, Joe Stamm, Henry Manchinuri, William Newson, Joel Eisdorfer, Ann Stamm, Gil Capon, Joel Lefkowitz, good afternoon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Having the late President Sadat honored with a Congressional Gold Medal will further reinforce that the message of belief and hope that the vision of a Middle East not beset by war, but rather with tolerance and peace is still possible and urgently needed. Perhaps to summarize the virtues of the late President Sadat, it is worthwhile to quote the late President Reagan when he said this: "In the recent past, there have been few foreign leaders who have truly captured the hearts of the American people. Anwar Sadat is one of those rare occasions, rare exceptions." Historians often argue about whether events are shaped by people or people by events. There is little doubt that the man we honor this evening, President Reagan continued in saying, is an individual who shaped history. And President Reagan mourned him upon his death, declaring, "President Sadat was a courageous man whose vision and wisdom brought nations and people together. In a world filled with hatred, he was a man of hope. In a world trapped in the animosities of the past, he was a man of foresight, a man who sought to improve a world tormented by malice and pettiness." And it was these immortal words of President Sadat that served as a constant reminder to me over the course of the 3 years that we were advocating for a Congressional Gold Medal to be presented to the late President Sadat. And this is what he said: "There are moments in the life of nations and peoples when it is incumbent on those known for their wisdom and clarity of vision to overlook the past with all its complexities and weighing memories in a bold drive towards new horizons." And he continued, "He who cannot change the very fabric of his thought will never be able to change reality and will never, therefore, make any progress." In conclusion, as my friend Abe Foxman wrote to so many members of Congress, who can forget that historic day in November 1977 when the President of Egypt descended from his plane onto the tarmac at the airport in Tel Aviv, setting forth on his mission of peace? All the cliches and conventional wisdoms were thrown out the window. The notion of inevitably itself was challenged. Wise leaders could change the course of history. Anwar Sadat set the standard for what could be achieved. Thank you. Thank you to our members, Joe Dweck, Dr. David Moskowitz, Joel Eisdorfer, for helping us along. Thank you.